need more men. Diamond Dogs needs to be bigger. Missions have come in too. We still have a long road ahead of us.
Please select a heading to Afghanistan. Deploying. Mission list updated. The map has been updated.
I'm gonna stay far.
Enemy presence detected. Clear landing zone confirmed.
Roger. This is B1. There's an obstruction at the LZ preventing me from landing. Request immediate removal.
Analysis complete. Enemy presence detected. The map has been updated. Analysis complete. Analysis complete.
Shot down the chopper. Already a backup chopper. Call it from your iDroid.
Enemy presence detected. The map has been updated. Enemy
c'est lui encore une fois.
detected.
Avec lui.
Another map
Ah non,
has
c'est
been
pas lui.
updated.
C'est qui?
You gotta extract him.
Enemy presence. The map has been updated. Analysis
That's the
complete.
target.
Нет, не делай этого!
Talk. Get down. Where are the others?
The map has been updated. Analysis complete.
Subject on board. Leave the rest to us.
What? Que se
Side
passe-t-il?
ops list
He's
updated.
coming too. Roger that.
Extraction arrived at Mother Base.
On relève?
Boss, come on back to base.
Tu veux le taper encore? Qu'est-ce que tu veux toi? Si ça m'a fait revenir juste pour ça. Ouais, ça va faire revenir juste pour ça. C'est ça, hein?
Boss, there's been an accident in the boys' quarters. A pile of steel pipes gave way and crushed one of the kids. The boy named Ralph. They tell me he died instantly. I'm sorry, boss. It's my fault. I should have been keeping an eye on them. I'll let you know if we learned something.
Boss, welcome back.
Talk. Where are your friends?
Please landing zone.
Roger.
Tu pourras pas me le dire au téléphone, hein? C'est genre... Hein? C'est plus pratique que de revenir ici.
Analysis complete.
This is B-Quad. Arriving shortly at LZ. This is B-Quad. Have arrived at LZ. Will stand by.
Si je te veux venir.
Support house. Please select a landing zone.
Là.
Landing zone.
Roger.
T'es pas obligé de faire des trucs comme ça, hein.
This is B-Quad. On station at LZ. Gaining altitude.
On va faire ça, je pense.
Boss, you can now give the order to develop or dispose of nuclear weapons from your iDroid. With a nuclear deterrent, even if you're discovered while infiltrating a rival PF's FOB, most PFs won't dare retaliate. But you, of all people, know how dangerous it can be to have nuclear weapons. So will you add nukes to our arsenal as a deterrent? Or will you take them away from other PFs and dispose of them to help build a world that's free of nuclear weapons? I'll leave that decision up to you.
Please select a mission. Unit dispatched. Unit dispatched. Unit dispatched. Unit dispatched. Please select a landing zone. Heading to Afghanistan. Deploying.
We've inoculated the staff with Walbakia to keep them from becoming symptomatic.
That should also contain the infection.
How did this happen in the first place? It has to have been a Cypher spy within our ranks.
If this is so, then why the Kakango strain? If their intent was to wipe you out,
Skullface said the remaining English parasite was close to the boss. If this latest strain was his doing, he wouldn't have tipped his hand.
it is possible someone brought eggs onto the base without knowing. Stuck to their shoes,
Analysis complete.
clothing.
Well, that makes the most sense to me. And where did the eggs come from?
You mentioned that your boss visited Nzoya Badiopulu.
Presence
Sure,
detected.
but his gear's
Not
disinfected
present.
immediately. Returned.
Then he was not the carrier.
And not just the boss. All staff dispatched to high-risk regions were quarantined on the flight back. When the symptoms first appeared, we checked and disinfected all equipment used up to that point. Any and all prisoners, soldiers, materials, and animals extracted during missions were also quarantined. So, that just leaves.
I have seen children around here.
Analysis
Where are they
complete.
from?
All over. Some were being held hostage at a mine. Then there were the troublemakers. He's coming too. Roger that.
Yamasa.
Yeah.
Their clothes, their things. Did you burn them?
They're just kids. We couldn't. And besides, not one of them's shown symptoms.
The parasites don't infect prepubescent hosts.
Where are your friends?
Their vocal cords are not fully developed.
Updated.
Well, if infection doesn't occur in children,
It is possible they carried eggs on their clothes. And the infection...
subject on board. Leave the rest to us.
I doubt there is any trace left by now.
But if there is, some of those kids must be close to hitting puberty. How could we have missed this? The name Wala Yamasa got quite a reaction from you. I'm guessing the Kakongo strain was released in that village.
Cypher used that region to experiment with vocal cord parasite transmission. The Kakongo strain. The settlements around the refinery upstream of Wala Yamasa were the proving grounds. They would infect one villager and record transmission speed. Dangerous work. If they failed to contain the infection, it would slip into the surrounding regions.
At which point the world found out about the parasites, making them useless as a weapon. Incredible they'd risk such a thing.
The test site was then...
Boss, get down. The enemy sniper. Stay low and crawl along the ground. That should enable you to sneak past enemies.
They thought burning everything would wipe away all traces. The settlements were covered in oil anyway. Who would wonder if one day they caught fire? And so it did. They burned it all. Living and dead.
Those remains.
But they miscalculated. transmission speed was far faster than anticipated. It may have been the temperature, or hygiene standards, or perhaps the parasites reacted quickly to Kikongo. Whatever the reason, nearly all villages were swiftly infected, and the settlements reduced to mounds of corpses. Making matters worse, the dry season was ending. When it came time to burn the village, the Moneni River had swelled. Many of the bodies were waterlogged, meaning they didn't burn completely. The corpses still contained viable eggs, and the larvae washed downstream. When the people downstream drank that water, that marked the end for Boala Yamasa. I learned all of this at the
Blague ou
mansion.
comment ça se passe?
I warned him of the risk of eggs getting out, and we are prepared for any eventuality.
I get it. Putting the oil field back online. The oil leaks, Saner. They plan to pollute the river. You gotta extract him?
But the oil flow and downstream, the people of Masa village started using the water again. The PF soldiers deployed at the village were locals, spoke Kikongo. They were infected, the kids survived.
I've heard enough.
And who stopped the flow of oil? We did.
That confirms it.
Subject on board. Leave the rest to us.
The infection was Masa village, and the children brought it here. It is no one's fault. There is no blame to be cast.
Analysis complete.
The parasites, they were tested in other regions?
Their physiology requires that they be tested under varied conditions. Another test site was in Afghanistan.
So it was the parasites there.
Both the Pashto and Tajik languages are spoken in the mountains of Afghanistan, and population density is low. Ideal testing grounds for how accurately the parasites target only the specified language.
Map has been updated.
It is also relatively easy to prevent the spread of infection.
And the results?
The first test, I am told,
He's coming too. Roger that.
once the Pashtun Mujahideen were infected. Strain. They were all but wiped out.
The Hamid fighters, this must say fort.
It was doubly successful. No Tajik Mujahideen or Soviet soldiers became symptomatic.
I'm sorry, boss, but the extraction failed. The support unit just isn't skilled enough. If you want to increase the success rate of Fulton extractions in bad weather, you need to improve the support unit.
However, the original aim was to obtain samples of the infected. In this, they failed.
And the village?
The Soviets enacted a standard scorched earth operation.
That must have been the village where Malak lived, before being held captive at La Marjate Palace.
Having had more time to think on it, the details shared with me may have been false. They are madmen who would do anything to cover up the truth.
They certainly seem to like tossing their problems.
As a boy, Skullface's life went up in flames. Perhaps fuels his fixation with fire.
Your Wolbachia stopped the infection all right, but I still don't get it. How can a few bacteria change males to females? You gotta extract him.
It is not such a rare thing in the natural world. Many insects and nematodes are infected with Wolbachia.
But why?
They nest in the cell cytoplasm of the host, even in the egg cells, with the result that the offspring are born infected.
Subject on board. Leave the rest to us.
However, Wolbachia cannot nest in sperm because they do not have cytoplasm. So even a successful infection of a male ends after single generation. This means the Volvakia must resort to maximize
You gotta extract him?
infected females.
Sounds like an ethnic cleansing campaign on a tiny scale.
Gender change from male to female is their survival tactic.
So more females means more Walbakia carriers, so it can keep thriving in the following generations.
But the parasites in a human host are supposed to be a mating pair. If there's no male, there'll be no offspring at all. It's killing itself.
Slow down. This tactic is intended for environments where a single male can copulate with multiple females. Originally, the Wolbachia did not infect the vocal cord parasites. I created a mutated strain, modifying the Wolbachia so that it could infect monogamous pairs. The Wolbachia's greatest multiplying tactic, the male-to-female change, worked against itself in the monogamous parasites.
You destroyed their anti-air radar? It wasn't one of the targets, but that's put a hole in their air surveillance. The chopper will be able to get in close now. You can designate a landing zone near the outpost.
Male-to-female conversion.
Creating female-female pairs, unable to reproduce.
And you say the Walbakia affects the host of the host, that is, us, cutting off our means to reproduce?
It is almost certain. Of
Analysis
course,
complete.
we will not turn female. After all, mammals possess no natural gender-changing function. But some Wolbachia strains can cause cytoplasmic incompatibility in the host.
Ready?
Put simply,
The map has been
it
updated.
means the altered sperm of infected males kill the female's egg on contact.
And that's happened.
Subject on board. Leave the rest to us.
And yet, what occurs in humans is not just simple CI. To date, there are no cases of Wolbachia affecting humans. That this strain causes this effect. Is it the vocal cord parasite's affinity with humans? I do not know enough to say for sure.
So the parasite warps the host. Reminds me of what Skullface said.
It is the way
He's coming too. Roger that.
their own optimal environment. Just look at you and this base. Organisms that cannot do this are doomed to extinction. The difference with parasites is that their environment is not an organism. That creates a connection between life and life. Parasitism, symbiosis, or death. In this way, the host too is challenged to adapt.
Subject on board. Leave the rest to us. Looks like that fall killed him. Too. Roger that.
Outpost captured.
Subject on board. Leave the rest to us.
Calme.
Whoa, whoa!
Extraction arrived at Mother Base.
Good. We captured it alive.
Side ops list updated. Please select a landing zone.
Oh, lui, c'est relou.
Mission not accepted. Please select a landing zone. Deploying. Marker placed. Please select a mission. Unit dispatched.
Be careful down there, boss.
Please select a landing zone.
Roger.
This is Pequod. Have arrived at LZ. Will stand by.
Enemy presence detected. Support helicopter has arrived.
Oula.
Analysis complete. Enemy presence detected. The map analysis complete.
Where are your friends?
The map has been updated.
Leave the rest to us.
Cover fire. In hot. Rockets away. There's a C-Quad. Aborting attack run and heading for nearby LZ. Don't keep me waiting. Get on board as soon as I'm done. There's a C-Quad. On station at LZ.
Side-ops list updated.
Okay, subject is in.
Extraction arrived at Metabase.
Gaining altitude.
Buddy departing area of operations.
Departing.
Please select a land heading to Central Africa. Deploying.
Be careful down there, boss.
About this OKB-0 Emmerich was talking about. Its location and features match the citadel in the mountains northeast of the Soviet base camp. Built during the time of Alexander the Great, it was left in ruins following one of Genghis Khan's campaigns. Its occupants changed time and again due to war, and it was expanded on more than one occasion. Ultimately, it fell into the hands of the Soviet philosophers. The Soviet army was using it as the headquarters of its Afghan invasion force. But it would seem that Skullface's connection with the philosophers gave him license to develop Sahelanthropus there. And that's what Emmerich was doing at the place, before he got the axe. But OKB is a designation the Soviets use for weapon design bureaus. There's no way they'd have one of those in Afghanistan. And in principle, the numbers that follow OKB are always integers above 1. There is no 0. Perhaps this was a secret facility of the Soviet and Chinese philosophers dating back prior to World War II. Though it's more likely Skullface just picked a fake name that more or less fit the Soviets' pattern. He doesn't go there often, but he sure as hell won't miss this. They use the heliport on top of the tower for his visits. Start by heading for the heliport. Then wait for your chance to make contact with Skullface. It seems Sahelanthropus' armor is made from depleted uranium. That offers some serious protection. The US military is planning on using it for its main battle tanks, too. Maybe that's where Emmerich got the technology.
Uranium. They're using nuclear fuel for armor now.
No. What they use for nuclear fuel is uranium-235, which is extracted from natural uranium. Depleted uranium is a byproduct of that process. Sort of like the leftovers, I guess. The garbage. Uranium-235 makes up 0.72% of natural uranium, whereas depleted uranium contains only 0.2%.
What are the benefits of using it for armor?
It's a pretty short list. Uranium's a heavy metal, like lead, meaning it can hold a greater amount of kinetic energy. But it also boasts a hardness closer to tungsten. That makes it an ideal material to use for, say, armor-piercing ammunition penetrators. But it's not the best choice for armor. Its volume is less than that of ceramics, but for an equal weight, you could end up with less protection.
So why use it then?
According to Emmerich, it came down to him being unable to source ceramics technology from a manufacturer. Plus, given that it's an upright walking vehicle, he wanted to reduce the bulk of certain areas. Despite all that, depleted uranium still makes for some tough armor, and Emmerich says it's been proven in live fire tests. It stops most Soviet tank shells. Emmerich didn't go with depleted uranium for Sahelanthropus' armor because of its strength.
He had nukes in mind.
Exactly. It's meant to use its body as the fuel component for a nuclear weapon. Sahelanthropus uses built-in uranium enrichment archaea to melt its own body and extract uranium-235 from the depleted uranium in its armor. Those archaea perform the enrichment
That's the target.
The concentration jumps by a factor of several
Blague.
hundred, from 0.2% to over 90%. The end result being highly enriched weapons-grade uranium. Sahelanthropus' body itself becomes a nuclear bomb. Emmerich says if it were to self-destruct, the nuclear yield would be somewhere in the region of 15 kilotons. Since you need about 50 kilograms of highly enriched uranium to trigger a nuclear reaction, that would mean Sahelanthropus contains something like 23 tons of depleted uranium.
That's not very much.
No, it isn't. That's about what you'd expect to find in a main battle tank's armor. The point is, it can be transported anywhere, even use its conventional weaponry on the battlefield. And the international community will never suspect a thing.
Completed. Surrounding zone
Roger.
Extraction arrived at Mother Base. Support helicopter requested. Development project has been added.
I just received word from the R&D team and the transport team out of Afghanistan. They finished installing Sahelanthropus on the base. It's ours now.
All right. Don't let any of the staff touch that thing. Especially Emmerich.
Of course. That guy's crush on Sahelanthropus is beyond a joke. Guess he really wants to see his tech stand on its own two legs this time.
That's not gonna happen.
I know it. So you've got no plans to make it operational again?
Damn right.
Boss, I want to hear it straight from you.
Hear what?
What the hell do you want with that thing? The drive is busted. It's not like it has a nuke on board. Even if the metallic archaea could turn it into a nuclear weapon, all it can do is self-destruct. Sahelanthropus just isn't a weapon anymore. It'll draw unwanted attention without even being a deterrent.
I know.
The weapon's development strut sank 2 feet under that thing's weight. That's 1 year's drop in a single night. We've started on reinforcing the strut, but there's no guarantee it'll hold up if a storm hits.
I know that too.
Boss, why keep it?
It's a mark. Us diamond dogs, we don't have a country to call home. That means we have no past, nothing to prove that we lived. Every one of us threw it all away when we came here. Sahelanthropus is a symbol to show that the likes of us brought at least one crisis to its end.
A mark in history. So we can't just fade away.
It's of no practical use to us. But we still need it.
A symbol of what we've done. I'm glad I sounded you out on this. Snake, On behalf of all of us, I want to thank you.
I don't need gratitude. I need security. Keep Emmerich away from that thing.
Extraction arrived at Mother Base.
Aïe. Pizzeria. Alors.
Please select a landing zone. Deploying.
Petit chacal. Petit.
Please select a mission. Unit dispatched. Unit dispatched. Unit dispatched. Unit dispatched. Unit dispatched.
Go, Docker. What are the metallic archaea?
Volcanic craters spewing sulfur. Water hot enough to boil your skin off. Ocean depths of 800 plus atmospheres. Wastelands radioactive enough to kill you where you stand.
Please land.
There are
Roger.
organisms that survive despite. No. Because of living in such environments.
I've heard about them. Extremo something.
When you want to begin a mission, open your iDroid and select it from the mission list. I sent a list of selectable missions to your iDroid. They're all jobs that only you can handle.
Created a metallic offspring of pure archaea. They subsist on metals rather than organic matter.
And some of them even consume uranium?
Yes. Uranium enrichment archaea metabolize only uranium-235. As a result, they produce weapons-grade enriched uranium. How is that possible? Consider how plants fractionate carbon isotopes when they conduct photosynthesis. Nature possesses abilities beyond our imagination.
So it was archaea that brought down your chopper?
Corrosive archaea, yes. They oxidize metals, feeding off the energy in the electrons they receive. What became of the wreckage?
We had the R&D team retrieve samples for study in airtight plastic containers, of course.
Prudent. We shall extract archaea from it in good time. They should help you fight back against Blaga Ana.
Any chance we could start now? It doesn't have to be a lot. I might just have another use for them.
If it's only a small amount you need.
That's fine. I'll get the R&D team to assist. Let's go.
South Africa was previously suspected of developing nuclear weapons. It already had a conspicuous presence at the UN because of apartheid and its armed expansionism. But when neighboring Angola the target became socialist countries in '74, South Africa felt hounded into a corner. So it accelerated its nuclear program to protect itself. 3 years later, the Soviets discovered a test facility, and 2 years after that, An American satellite observed a flash in the southern Indian Ocean. It said this was South Africa conducting a nuclear test with the help of a certain ally. Skullface used the situation in South Africa to get this ally to lend a hand. They both wanted nukes, so it was a mutually beneficial relationship. On the surface, anyway.
I figure South Africa started getting serious about nuclear weapons production in '75. In '74, the government was still able to get by with bluffing that it had a nuclear arsenal. But the year after, word spread that an independent armed group in the Caribbean was crushed by Cypher for possessing a WMD. That's right, boss. What happened to you and your men was the reason South Africa decided to push ahead with nuclear development. A force independent of any country getting its hands on a nuke. That was a threat to the existence of countries everywhere. It wasn't just South Africa. Your presence pushed a lot of countries to get nukes. The world was scared of you. You were a threat to
Roger.
If nations are gears in a machine, you had the power to smash them loose and watch the whole world grind to a halt.
Completed. Side ops list updated. Extraction arrived at Mother Base. Enemy presence detected. The map has been updated.
This is B-Quad. Arriving shortly at LZ. This is B-Quad. Have arrived at LZ. Will stand by.
Support helicopter has arrived.
Gaining altitude. Departing.
Good. You captured it alive.
Cool. Allez, il est beau, il est beau.
Please specify a project.
Please specify a project. Chien extrayé. Encore un truc comme ça, c'est ouf. Ah oui, ça va, je l'ai pas fait. Ok.
Please select a landing zone.
Allez, je vais faire une mission. Au moins.
Deploying.
Rocket punch.
Please landing zone
Roger.
confirmed.
This is P-Quad. Arriving shortly at LZ. This is P-Quad. Have arrived at LZ. Will stand by.
Enemy presence analysis
That's the
complete.
target.
Helicopter has
I
arrived.
remember him. He was off base during the attack 9 years ago. Bring him home, boss.
Oh, oh non, ça l'a pas assommé. Ça l'a pas assommé. Et oui.
Enemy presence detected.
Des
The map
mouvements tout en
has been
légèreté.
updated.
Yeah.
Enemy presence detected. The map has been updated.
Arrête-toi là, arrête-toi là. Bon, le mec n'a pas été assommé par le truc, par le rocket punch. Il est fort, hein. Ouais, tu commences à me casser les couilles, mec.
Whoa, whoa.
What? 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 C'est un Terminator, c'est ça? Ou... Putain, le boulet! Eh mais
Enemy
toi tu vas prendre cher.
presence detected. The map
Toi tu
has
vas te
been
prendre un coup de missile
updated.
dans la tronche. Tu vas te prendre un coup de missile dans la tronche, mec.
Enemy presence detected. The map
Il
has
te
been
tire encore, hein.
updated.
Eh mais il va me faire un sale coup encore.
Talk. Boss, I knew you were alive.
J'ai envie d'appuyer sur Y.
Caution, rain approaching.
Non, je vais pas le faire.
Boss, I knew you were alive. I'm so happy, boss.
One of the guys out on a mission at the time. He's fallen a long way from the glory days. But what's come back to us? Bring him home, boss.
Extraction
This is P-Quad.
arrived at
Have arrived at
Methodist.
LZ. Will stand by.
Enemy presence detected. The map has been updated. Support helicopter has arrived.
Allez, on va faire une mission histoire de pas faire que ça. Peut-être une mission expert. Ouais, allez, on va faire ça. Ça va être marrant. Et surtout, je fais une mission principale après j'arrête. Ça sera suffisant. Ouais.
Side ops list updated. Please select a mission. Please
Alors, qu'est-ce
select
qu'on
a
va faire?
mission.
Survie. Ça c'est cool. Et extrême. Ça c'est relou. Je vais faire plutôt celui-là. Ouais, je vais faire plutôt celui-là.
Mission accepted. Heading to Afghanistan.
Et après, on arrête. Et voilà.
Boss, you need to disable the Soviets' reinforcement system by putting a hole in their base-to-base comms network. Head for the Eastern Communications Post and destroy its comms equipment. First, use the binoculars to locate the communications equipment at the facility.
Alors, ça veut dire que je vais devoir détruire les trucs sans rien du tout. Ah! Ah! C'est problématique de là.
The map has been updated.
Emmerich uses externally powered legs of his own design. It's bionics technology, a product of the U.S. military's failed attempt to develop a powered exoskeleton. All the wearer has to do is apply a little force,
Je sais même pas de
and the
sultan.
actuators continue the movement in that direction. But his legs are unique. Instead of using a hydraulic mechanism, the actuators run off metallic archaea. That increases the actuator's reaction speed and also enables him to lock and release the joints at will. The legs are a nifty little gadget, but they have two clear weaknesses. First, they're dependent on external power, maybe because he built them knowing he couldn't leave his lab. There's no internal battery. That's why they won't work if they aren't plugged in. Second, and this is more than just a weakness, the legs are directly connected to his bones. Could be to minimize signal loss in the orders output to the legs and the drive response from them. Either way, Emmerich has used bolts to attach load-bearing parts directly to his femurs, probably by mimicking surgical treatment for compound fractures and the like. But the end result is those legs and his body are fused together, and that appears to be how he's able to move them so precisely. But that also means that any shock to the legs would be delivered right to his bones by way of those bolts. The same is true if he encounters the corrosive metallic archaea. If the corrosive archaea ate into the exposed bolts, they'd reach the endoskeleton parts and eat through them too in the blink of an eye. The doctor's bones are full of holes to accommodate all the bolts. They're like sponges.
Complete.
If he were to lose the reinforcing parts, even the tiniest bit of force or weight would snap his bones. So when I dangled those corrosive metallic archaea in front of him, he realized straight away what would happen. Life wouldn't be worth living if he lost those legs of his. I'd bet that is what the doctor fears the most. I just helped him imagine what it would be like. Thanks to that, I got the information we needed without either of us getting hurt. You know how he is. He's probably already over the shock. The better you know your adversary, the easier it is for you to get information from them. And vice versa.
Я не хочу умирать!
Weather
Where are
will
your
clear
friends?
shortly.
Enter the Eastern Communications Post and destroy the target equipment.
Ah, ça va.
Location is on your iDroid.
S'il y a ça, ça va.
He's coming too. Roger that.
said that the nuke Skullface was trying to spread around the world were equipped with a failsafe. Something that could shut them down at will. His will.
Quite so. After all, he needed a guarantee that a virus simply turned the weapons back on him.
So how can they be stopped?
The criticality trigger, that is, the detonator, is a complete black box design. Any attempt to dismantle it causes it to melt in seconds, using the corroding archaea. The design ensures that
You gonna extract him?
unless he disengages the lock.
So he had a way to disengage it remotely.
Precisely.
Extraction arrived at
The
Mother
client
Base.
simply presses a button. At that moment, the detonator begins transmission with a surveillance satellite. The satellite reports to him how the client is trying to use the nuke. If he does not object, the lock is disengaged.
But if it's a risk to him in any way,
The detonator melts down. The same is true if detonation does not occur within a preset time after the lock is disengaged. The nuke is rendered useless.
Who the hell would buy something with strings attached like that?
The client would never know until the moment they actually try to use it. Most likely, he would have explained the time delay as the detonators needing time to activate. And he only intended to sell to technologically primitive groups in the first place.
let me guess. He'd claim it was defective and offer a replacement. Shadier than a used car salesman.
Skullface shakes your hand like a friend, using the other to control you like a puppet. This is how he works.
Code Talker. Haven't seen you eat a single thing since you got here. Let me guess. Photosynthesis?
Oh? What makes you say that?
Well, a long time ago, I knew someone with a similar ability.
Well, you are correct. Most of my body is covered with parasites. I supply them with water, and in return I receive sugars they produce when exposed to light.
Extraction arrived
It
at
isn't
Mother
just
Base.
my skin either.
Analysis
The
complete.
parasites
Analysis
also act
complete.
as my eyes. They have replaced many of my internal organs as well. It is thanks to them that I live on after over a century.
How did you obtain them anyway? Through your research?
I would like to say as much, but there is more to it than that. Let me take you back 20 years. I had hit a dead end with my parasite research. Then I was approached by a foundation. They said they had a sample of an unusual strain of parasite.
Which foundation?
Apparently, they had links to all.
We know where to find the target. Check your iDroid.
Somewhat ignorant of the ways of the world. Just being able to study it was enough for me.
Yeah, I've heard that before. Go on.
Subject on board. Leave the rest to us.
To discover the body of an old man. Well, to be precise, his partial remains. A collection of parts.
You made it.
The man-
That radio transmitter is used to relay messages between outposts. Take it out and the mission's complete.
Decomposed.
Explosives should take care of them well enough. How you do it is up to you.
Still metabolizing. The parasite had infected, or should I say assimilated with, the tissues, and was keeping them alive. I became obsessed with studying the body parts, outgoing food, and even sleep. Every day was filled with new discoveries. The parasite's biology, internal anatomy, life cycle. But there was only so much I could learn through observation. And so I made a decision to truly know the parasites. I had to live with them.
So, you implanted them inside you from the dead man's flesh?
Correct. It was quite a gamble, whether or not they would adapt to me. But fortunately, it appears I was compatible with them. Or perhaps,
You gonna extract him?
years of research, my immune system learned to tolerate them.
Were they that body's only parasite?
Yes. However, there was a separate specimen that supplied its host
Analysis
with
complete.
adrenaline in response to pain,
Analysis
and
complete.
yet another that could control insects at will through secreting heterogeneous pheromones. I wanted exposure to them, to take them into me, but my wishes were denied. Their records, though, provided clues that helped advance my research. Would you care to join me? A life spent never worrying about food is a most wonderful one.
I think I'll pass. But thanks. This has been helpful.
Marker placed.
That antenna is one of the targets.
Info.
There should be more.
Analysis complete.
Keep looking.
Skullface has finally burned out. The world is rid of his existence at last.
Was he still alive?
You could say that. But you could also say he'd been dead for decades.
What's that supposed to mean?
Biologically speaking, it's hard to say how much was his life.
Side effects from the treatment?
No, the primary effect. Keeping a dying host alive as long as possible. That is the whole point. But in the end, he grew too dependent on his children. As if he had any other way to keep on living. He first underwent parasite therapy before the Soviet Union became his home. His body was horribly burned.
Analysis
Fire washed
complete.
across his thin young frame and stole his skin and his throat,
Analysis complete.
even his lungs. Only through repeated therapies could the parasites keep him alive. Most of his life became something the parasites gave to him.
And then he lost the ability to die.
That is correct. The parasites live on past the host's death, still aiding cell composition. At that stage, there is no way to extract them from the host cells. There is no way of knowing when the last cell of Skullface's body would die. The only choice was to burn the whole thing. And his children, along with it. And I am one to talk. When my life is snuffed out, I expect you to treat my body the same way. And when I burn, I will truly be one with my children for the first time. You say there were 3 English vocal parasites.
According to Skullface, yeah.
Skullface had 2 of the English strain with him. You burned both of them.
There was an oil fire. I tossed him in.
So that just leaves 1. And you tell me Skullface said he used it.
He said it was very close to me.
Very close. One of your comrades. Or someone ordered to kill you. Or he could have been speaking metaphorically.
Metaphorically.
Close to your spirit.
He's coming too. Roger that.
Someone who either loves you or despises you.
The second one makes a long list.
Whichever it is, act with caution. Skullface implanted someone with the English language strain. Who it is irrelevant.
Analysis
Why?
complete.
I tell you what Skullface really meant. Very close to you means you will be exposed. All the infected here have been given the Wolbachia. Even if the vocal cord parasites infect them now, they cannot reproduce. But if there's a different host among us, host to the English strain, if that were the case, we'd see the symptoms. What about the non-English speakers? We have plenty of those, but the staff use English as a common language. But if that someone has not spoken English yet, and begins to speak it now, there'd be another outbreak. The final mating pair of the English strain must be found immediately. Skullface is gone.
Subject on board. Leave the rest to us.
On this base, do you see what the final mating pair is? With him dead, those parasites are the stain he wished to leave upon the world. His thirst for vengeance. In their flesh. Think. Does anyone here bear a grudge against you? Who would target you, specifically?
The ethnic cleansers that Code Talker mentioned, they weren't Skullface's true goal. All we have is circumstantial evidence, but here's my theory. It was Cypher who started developing the vocal cord parasites as bioweapons, parasitic weapons, and Africa was the testing ground for them. As Code Talker said, their purpose is the ethnic cleansing of only those who speak a particular language. So they could do a weapon of mass destruction to eradicate specific groups, races, ethnicities, or colonies by the language they speak. Or a kind of absolute language control. Or maybe a tool for those arrogant fools to build some misguided utopia. I could see plenty of uses for them. However, in practical terms, they wouldn't be as dangerous as you think. Counteracting the parasites is easy, after all. Cut them out of your throat to save your life, or just don't talk. That also prevents the infection from spreading. So if the international community were to find out about them, they'd no longer be the threat they were conceived to be. In which case, their targets would be limited to minority groups, as a deterrent or a terrorist tool. It's hard to imagine Cypher developing something like that as a main weapon for their arsenal. That leads me to think we've only tugged on one little thread in Cypher's grand tapestry. An obscure corner of their work, possibly forgotten altogether. In any case, things changed. When Skullface was forced to relocate to Africa and he saw that thread dangling. All the time he continued that research, he was secretly following his own agenda. The ethnic liberator parasites. His English language strain. Skullface said there were only
He's coming too. Roger that.
Strain parasite, and I think we can believe him. Bringing his ethnic liberator's plan to fruition depended on creating an English version of the vocal cord parasites at all costs. But an English strain would have been useless to Cypher. Worse, it could have destroyed everything they'd built. It was the one type they couldn't allow. That means Skullface was forced to develop his English strain out of sight of Cypher's network. Naturally, he couldn't use the greenhouse facility Cypher had set up and filled with guinea pigs. Skullface must have found some secret place to create his precious few English parasites, hiding all evidence like a man cheating on his wife. Somewhere, an entirely standalone environment. And when his plan entered its final phase, he must have made the place disappear. Some little room, could be anywhere, but now nowhere at all. We'll never know where he did it. But to elude Cypher's surveillance, it couldn't have been big. I believe Skullface was telling the truth. There were only ever 3 samples of the English language strain. Why activate Sahelanthropus in Afghanistan?
The subject on board. Leave the rest to us.
The Soviet Union secretly develops a new type of nuclear weapon and successfully deploys it in Afghanistan. Revealing the existence of Sahelanthropus results in a return to the glory days of the Cold War. The threat it poses reignites the nuclear arms race between the world's major powers. The demand for nuclear weapons increases around the globe. What if you then introduced a nuclear weapon anyone could get their hands on? Non-nuclear nations, militant groups of all shapes and sizes, they'd all jump at the chance. Sahelanthropus was a marketing tool to sell nukes all around the world. But I think it's safe to say that plan was stamped out before it got up and running. The world's intelligence agencies never did turn up anything conclusive on it. After all, Sahelanthropus vanished before word could spread. Everything that's happened is already a fading memory, never to join the pages of history. Except for Cypher. Cypher won't forget. They'll already be working on something quiet beneath the surface. They'll use the pieces of data scraped together from this
Explosives should take care of them well enough. How you do it is up to you.
a long time to complete it, but for now, the greed sector have found their new life's work. We'll have to be ready too.
Good. That's the first one. Destroy the remaining antennas. He's coming too. Roger that.
Map has been
That antenna is
sure.
nice. That's the second one. That wasn't the last of them, though. Keep going.
The map has been updated. Enemy presence detected. The map has been updated.
You gotta extract him.
Snake, talk to me! Snake! Snake!
Enter the Eastern Communications Post and destroy the target equipment. Its location is on your iDroid.
Я не хочу умирать!
The map has
coming too. You made it. First, use the binoculars to locate the communications equipment at the facility.
Analysis. The map has been updated.
That antenna is one of the targets. There should be more. Keep looking.
The map has been
That's another
updated.
one of the targets. Do you see any more? That looks like the target.
Mission info.
We know where all the antennas are now. Take out all 3 of them. How you do it is your call.
Analysis complete. The map has been
That radio transmitter is used to relay messages between outposts. Take it out and the mission's complete. We have the locations of all the targets. Destroy either the radio transmitter or all the antennas to shut down communications between the enemy outposts. It's all up to you, boss. Good work. You've completed your objective. Now get out of the hot zone.
Mission info has been updated.
Au revoir les nuls. Noob.
The map has been updated. Extraction arrived at Mother Base.
Mission complete, and how? They're gonna tell stories about this one, boss.
J'ai déjà fait ça, arrêtez.
Why activate Sahelanthropus in Afghanistan? This is how Skullface wanted things to play out. The Soviet Union secretly develops a new type of nuclear weapon and successfully deploys it in Afghanistan. Revealing the existence of Sahelanthropus results in a return to the glory days of the Cold War. The threat it poses reignites the nuclear arms race between the world's major powers. The demand for nuclear weapons increases around the globe. What if you then introduced a nuclear weapon anyone could get their hands on? Non-nuclear nations, militant groups of all shapes and sizes, they'd all jump at the chance. Sahelanthropus was a marketing tool to sell nukes all around the world. But I think it's safe to say that plan was stamped out before it got up and running. The world's intelligence agencies never did turn up anything conclusive. After all, Sahelanthropus vanished before word could spread. Everything that's happened is already a fading memory, never to join the pages of history. Except for Cypher. Cypher won't forget. They'll already be working on something, quietly beneath the surface. They'll use the pieces of data scraped together from this incident to build their own bipedal weapon. It'll take them a long time to complete it, but for now, the Greed sector have found their new life's work. We'll have to be ready too.
Unit dispatched. Unit dispatched. Development complete. Development project has been added. Please select a mission. Please select a mission.
Allez, si je faisais ça rapidement. Je pense que c'est une bonne idée. Ouais. Allez, on va faire ça. Si ça se
Please
téléporte direct.
select a landing
Ah merde,
zone.
mais bon.
Heading to Mother Base. Heading to Mother Base.
Ouais, ça va le téléporter direct. Enfin, ça va le téléporter. Ça va le... Oui, ça va. Non, je vais acheter ma. Donc je prends une mitraillette.
Stay back. It's too dangerous. Hey. Back up, kid. I said no. You have to stay back. Some things can't be helped. Back to your quarters. What's going on?
Shabani. Mayaka 9 Kingoya. Shabani.
It's down there. The tank at the bottom is filled with chlorine disinfectant. One whiff and you'll suffocate. Don't even. How could you let it fall down there anyway? Go down there, and it is over. Boss! Listen to me! There is no way to recover the body. What kind of stunt was that? Trying to panic us? Look. Here.
Please select a mission. Please select a mission. Unit dispatched.
Welcome back, boss.
Talk.
The map has been updated.
Thank you for stopping the infection, boss.
Oh, Snake!
What is it, Snake? Gallo Pinto! Amanda and I taught Cecile how to make it. She picked it up so fast. I was really surprised. I guess Parisians have cooking in the blood. Are Cecile and Amanda doing okay? I wonder why they haven't visited. I'm sorry, Snake. My head hurts. Could you let me rest?
So, as if putting me on stage to sing was not enough, Miller even expected me to write the lyrics.
Dispatched.
He even said he had thought of the title already. Love Deterrence. As if he had done the hard part. Deterrence? Love? Deterrence? Deterrence is when nuclear weapons prevent war, right? I do not see how love fits in. But it was too late to complain, so I just sat and listened to the tape of Miller's backing guitar and the professor's melody over and over again. I guess the melody is more Professor Galvez's creation than Miller's, but on the whole, I think it is actually a good song. First, it goes for your heart with a sorrowful opening, but then you feel revitalized as the song goes on. Miller grew up in post-war Japan. Maybe that is why the song has that kind of balance. Long ago, I heard some Japanese music called enka, I think. It sounded this way, but I wonder why it has to sound sad in the first place. Miller called it Love Deterrence. Doesn't that mean he had a love song in mind? All I see of Miller and women is the way he fooled around with a lot of them at once. But maybe he has had his heart broken too. And what about me? I found myself thinking about Chico and Snake as well. I know Chico has a crush on me, so naturally he should come to mind. But why Snake? He saved me, and I feel indebted to him. But I thought that was all he meant to me. Why does my heart flutter when I think of him? It is embarrassing to be unable to control this emotion. There has to be a way to suppress it, to forget it. But... what love deterrence is? With that thought in mind, I went to my desk and began to write and write. Just 3 days left until Peace Day.
Snake.
C'est tout ce que ça va me dire. Ok. Salut, salut. Alors, on va continuer avec ça.
Marker placed.
Ça va être une tanasse de monter là-haut. Par contre, toi, hop, merci. C'est quoi cette personne? Ça doit faire mal quoi, non? Où sont ces escaliers?
We're having Code Talker continue his parasite research. He's clearly very grateful to you. I'm sure he'll return the favor somehow.
Boss.
Ils étaient pas équipés de fusil, hein? Enfin, de truc non létal. C'est bizarre. Bonjour. Qui êtes-vous? On se connaît?
You can deploy a buddy from the ACC before a mission or from your iDroid. Think carefully about the mission's objectives before deciding who you better take along. If you develop specialized equipment for them, they'll be able to help you out in even more situations.
You have arrived at your destination.
finalement je vais arrêter de faire ça, ça me saoule. Je vais le faire plus tard. Je le ferai plus tard. Comment on fait déjà? Ah oui, faut partir de là.
Please select a landing zone. Landing zone.
Encore une fois j'ai fail là. Exactement. On va changer ça tout de suite.
Please select a landing zone. Confirmed.
Par contre celui que j'ai croisé là il va prendre cher. Au niveau des balles. J'ai pris tout le chargeur dessus.
Arriving shortly at LZ. On station at LZ. Gaining altitude.
Extraction arrived at Mother Base.
Allez, j'ai une mission d'infiltration et j'arrive.
Please select a mission. Heading to FOB. Deploying.
Dès que j'ai fini, j'arrête.
Successfully sneak your way into the heart of the rival PF's FOB, and you can capture staff from them. I'll be looking forward to meeting the new recruits, boss.
The map has been analysis complete.
Be careful down there, boss.
I'm a virgin.
The map has been updated.
He's coming too. Roger that.
Analysis complete.
Subject on board. Leave the rest to us.
Analysis complete.
Ouais.
He's coming too. Roger that.
tire sur quoi exactement là? Arrêtez de tirer peut-être. Réfléchissez un peu. Vous tirez sur quoi? Là si vous tirez vous êtes très mauvais hein. Voilà. Enfin quelqu'un d'intelligent. Oh, il y a toujours des débiles. Vous serez lui un petit peu.
CP, this is Delta 3. Lost visual contact. Anyone last in position? Over.
This way!
This is CP. Understood. Keep your guard up and find them. Out.
There, you need suppressing
tous morts, putain.
Subject on board. Leave the rest to us.
Sun will rise momentarily.
Infiltration
Parfait.
successful.
Je me suis fait repérer. Donc il va pouvoir m'attaquer. C'est parfait.
Extraction arrived at
C'est une
Mother
mission
Base.
parfaitement réussie.
Boss, the rival PF knows who we are. Better step up FOB security in case they retaliate.
Please specify a project. Caution, rain approaching. Please specify a project. Commencing platform construction. Commencing platform construction. Commencing platform commencing platform commencing platform construction. Commencing platform construction.
Allez. Donc on reprend demain. Demain on ira jouer beaucoup moins.